Yeah, good evening, everyone. So, last session we learnt about event related some basic points. We discussed about synthetic events. So, what is synthetic events? Synthetic events is the base for all events in React. React virtual DOM related events are managed by a base library, that is synthetic events library. So synthetic event library is responsible
This
for
meeting is being
defining
recorded.
all the events. Actually events belongs to the browser events. So React cannot use those events, so it uses synthetic. And all concepts we discussed about event handling. In React, how to write the event, and in React, how we pass default arguments, how do we pass custom arguments, those concepts also we learned. So in event binding, we discussed about how the events are written in React, how do we pass the arguments. So we discussed the mechanism of default events as well as custom arguments, default arguments and custom arguments. And now we can start understanding different types of events. Right? So we will see various events. So synthetic events. So we will first see mouse events. In the synthetic events, we are going to learn about mouse events. How do we handle the mouse events? So events are categorized into various. So we need to understand these mouse events. Actually, events are classified into so many groups, different groups I will tell you, we will see. Mouse events we are having on mouse over, on mouse out, on mouse down, on mouse up, on mouse move. These are the mouse events. So very frequently used events with mouse interactions are these: mouse over, mouse out, mouse down, mouse move, and mouse up. These are regularly used events. So these are mouse related events. Actually, mouse over means what are the actions to perform when mouse pointer is over the element. We use mouse over. Mouse out means what are the actions to perform when mouse pointer is out of that particular element. Mouse down means when you hold down the mouse button until you hold down the mouse button. Mouse up means once you release the button. Move means while moving the mouse pointer continuously when you are moving the mouse pointer. Now, to use these events and implement in a React application, you need to learn one more concept. What is that concept is? You have to learn the concept of style binding. And with that style binding, and class binding. First, we will see style binding because some basic things we need to understand here. So what is the concept of style binding is nothing but how we can dynamically apply the styles. That means style binding is, it is a technique of configuring styles for JSX elements. Configuring styles for JSX elements. You can bind the styles dynamically to make element interactive and responsive. You can bind styles dynamically to make element interactive and responsive. That is the concept of style binding. And how do you bind the styles? So styles are defined using style property, which gets the attributes from JSON object, which gets the attributes from JSON object. So what is the meaning here is, suppose you want to apply some styles to any element. What we have to do is, for example, we have a heading. For heading, we want to apply some background color. So generally you learned in CSS, you can write inline styles. How do you write the style? By using style. Directly we can write the styles, but here not. What you have to do is, in React.js, if you want to write any inline style or you want to change it dynamically, then we have to use a binding expression. In that binding expression, style is written like an object. In that object, we will have an attribute name, and colon will have an value. Value should be in string. Here, what is the basic rule? The basic rule is, you can have heading, you can put your text or something. What is the basic rule is, CSS attribute name, I will give here a new point here. CSS attribute name must be in camel case, and CSS attribute value must be string type, value must be string. This is the rule you have to follow. It should be in camel case. It must be in camel case, and attribute value must be string. That means actually when you are applying styles, generally in CSS style attributes, how they look, I will show you a point here. We have background hyphen color. Am I right? That is CSS attribute. But in React, you have to write background color. Like this, you have to write. No hyphen. No hyphen. So generally, we have text align. That is CSS attribute. But here we have to write text align. That means it should be camel case. Camel case means prefix lowercase, suffix starts with an uppercase letter. Suppose you have font size. Here we have to write font size. Suppose you have color. Here also simply color. Right? So we have width. Here also we define width. But in CSS attributes, wherever you have hyphens, there we have to use a camel case. You cannot use the hyphens and write them as it is. In React CSS styling, inline will not allow hyphens. It will allow only camel case. And every value must be string. You are giving 20 pixel. Generally what we can do, we can directly write 20 pixel. But here even 20 pixel you have to write in a string. You have to write in a string format. You cannot write like 20 pixel. That means usually in general HTML what you do? In general HTML when you write, so heading, when you write style, you write some color or some width. You write width as some 20 pixel. So 200 pixel, like this we write. But in React, how do we write? So we need to put a style equal to binding expression. In that expression, we have to write an object. In that object, width how much? 200 pixel, string type. Like this we need to write. Actually, in general CSS styling, when you write inline styles, the multiple attributes are separated with semicolon. We have to separate attributes with semicolon. That means how to write second attribute. Second attribute you have to put a semicolon. But here we have to just use a comma. Comma and another style and what attribute value you want. So that means here, so multiple attributes are separated with comma. Delimiter. Delimiter is separator. That means how do we write? We have some div, style, and in this style, we need to put an object. So background color, we have red, comma, color, so white. Or say you can use your codes like #FFF. And border 1 pixel solid black. Like this we can define. This is how we have to write the styles. How do we define the styles? Binding expression, that is curly brace. In that, what I given definition, style must be an JSON object. How do you write an object? This indicates the value coming dynamically. And this indicates it is an object. Object contains key values, right? Object have key values. An object cannot be directly written. Object must be written in a dynamic expression, right? And this is how JSX elements can use. You cannot write in a normal way. For example, here, okay, so here I am defining some styling. Okay, so we have a heading and we want to define some style. Suppose style binding something. And how do we define the style? We need to write a style and it uses a binding expression. In that binding expression, we need an object. And what is the object? Key. We have to define the key. Key is, suppose, background color. We have to write like this. And colon and the value. Value is a string, that is some red. And how do we define multiple? Then we have text align. Text align is what? Center. And we have another one, that is color. So color is white, something like this. This is how we need to write the styles dynamically. So style binding is nothing but configuring the styles dynamically. How do you write the style dynamic? You cannot write in the same way how you done in your HTML. In HTML, what we do, we simply write a style and here we write some options like this. Some background color. Background color is red, like this we write. And color is what? White. Suppose some welcome, like this generally we write. So when you write, it is an error. Why it is an error? Because style property expects mapping from the style values and it is not a string type. It is not a string type. So you need to define in this way if you are configuring. And of course, when you know that it is a value, an object type, then this object you can dynamically pass. That means an object you can dynamically pass, right? So what is the concept of style binding? You can change the appearance dynamically. We can change. Later in validations and everywhere we will use it. But one simple concept I will explain here, how we manage, right? How we handle that. Let's see one example for this. So what I will do is here, I am defining a simple object. I will remove this. Okay. And I will keep an state constant style obj object is set style object. Okay. And is equal to use state and it is an object. And this object have attributes. What is it? Background color. Background color. So that is some red. So color, some yellow. Something like this we are defining. Now this object we need to apply here. Then this time I can directly access style object because it is object type. It is object type, directly I can access it and it can display. Right? That means we can configure one object and that object we can access and use it here. Or directly you write an object. What is advantage of this? We can dynamically change colors, effects and all, which I will show you. How do we do that? How dynamically we can change and implement in examples we will see. But first thing you should know, you cannot write the styles inline as you have written in your general CSS and HTML. Here you have to use a binding expression and we need a style object. Now let's implement this in our, we will implement this in our general mouse events. We will create one simple example. Let's see. So what we will do here is I will just add a simple container. This is mouse events. Okay. And here we have a div and the class. This is having another div inside, and this div is having as style. It is having width. So width is some 25%, or I'll give some 100 pixel. And it is having background color. Background color is suppose red. Okay, the same thing I am adding 2, 3, and this is red, this is green, and this is blue. We are having some colors. And usually it will display some text also we need for that. This is red, and this is green, and this is blue. We have 3 important colors here. We will use deflex and padding 4. Some gap will come like this, and text white, and we will put the color text center. It will keep the alignment center. Okay, this is just the colors we are having, just combination we defined there. Now what is the concept is below this? I will keep a heading, and heading is sample text. Okay. Now I want this sample text to change its colors. When mouse is over the color, that color should apply. So when mouse is over that color should apply to that particular text. Now what is the logic? The color of heading depends on the color on which mouse is over. On which mouse is over. That means how you know on which color mouse is over? All are divs. How you know on which color the mouse is over? All are divs. Right? On which div the mouse is over? How do we know that? So we will write one event here. We will write a function, that is the function name I will give as handle mouse over. You can give any name for function, it doesn't matter. Okay. On mouse over, this function should be managed by all these divs. That means every div should point towards that function. That means on what is the event name? On mouse over. On mouse over, handle mouse over. That means all these divs are using the same function. Then how the function knows on which div currently mouse is? How the function knows whether the mouse is on red div or green div or it is on blue div? This div is not having any ID, any name, any value. If it is having, we can easily send that. That means, for example, this div have an ID as red. Its ID is red. This div ID is what? Green. And this div ID as blue. Now how to collect the ID of div in the function? We know we can use event argument E. By using that E, we can access this ID. And we need to access this and we need to display. Where to display? We need to set color for this heading. That means we will create one style object. So we will create a constant and some style obj, set style obj as is equal to use state, and that contains an object. Object have a property called color, and color is initially black. The color value is initially black. Now what we have to do, when mouse is over, get the ID. ID contains color name and apply into this color object. That means what we have to do, this style object should be used by this heading. That means heading should use style. Style coming from which place? Style object. That means style object is having a color black. By default it is black. Okay. Now what we do, when mouse is over, set style object. Set style object is expecting an object. You can see value is an object. Object contains a key called color. That means it is an object. In that, what is the key? Color. And what should be the value? Value depends on where the mouse is over. Its ID, div ID. How to collect the div ID? E dot target, target dot ID. That's how we can access the ID. That means now what happens? When mouse is over red, it will display. And when mouse is over green, it will display. And it is on blue, then it will display that. That means on mouse over, we are changing the value. So that is a simple concept of how we can bind the styles dynamically through mouse event. One mouse event we have seen. What is that? Mouse over. Now we can use another option also. Mouse out. On mouse out, you want to reset the color. Then we can do another function. What is it? We can write another function. What is it? Handle mouse out. Handle mouse out. We will just use one simple one. What we have to do, set style object. It should have a color. Color is always what? Black. That is fixed. And we have to write mouse out on this. That means what we need to do, on mouse out. On mouse out, we are applying the option. What is it? Handle mouse out. The same should be handled by all. On mouse out, it should be like this. Now when mouse is over, this is red, and this is green, this is blue, and mouse is out, it is black. When mouse is over, it is displaying. When mouse is out, it is normal. It is changing the color and display. That is a simple action to perform when mouse is over. Right? How we can define mouse over and mouse out. Now the same thing we can achieve. Here you need to learn this style binding also, then you can clearly understand. So first, if you know style binding, then you will understand how to apply the styles dynamically. So first, this is the basic concept. And here I have used two events, mouse over, another one, mouse out, mouse out. We will see another one. For example, I will give this event demo.jsx. Let me copy this. I will copy this event demo.jsx. This is an example of mouse over and mouse out. Let's see another one. For example, we will try to design another something like Flipkart. So in Flipkart, we have some mobiles. And in the mobiles, I selected some this one. Okay, this is the mobiles page. And here, what is the point is, when mouse is over, then that image is displayed there. On mouse over, the image is changing right side. how you can handle this. For example, in my computer, I am having some images. Let's copy some images we have. Already we have some images. Some mobile related images. Images. Here only two are there. Okay. M1, M2. Yeah. So M1, M2, M3. Let's check, are these images types? This is JPG. This is PNG. Okay, this is JPG. First one and second one. Make sure that I'm using all are JPGs only. Second, third, and fourth. Okay. I have some images. Let's copy these images into our project folder. That means into our project public folder. In the public folder, we will copy all these images. So M1, M2, M3, M4. So we have some images here. Okay. Now what we will do is we will create a JSON file. We will create a JSON file in the public folder, that is mobiles.json. Okay. In the mobile JSON file, we are adding an array of objects. Every object have an image img src, image source. And what is that image source? It is m1.jpg. I am keeping all this data in a JSON. This is m2.jpg, m3, and m4. Later we will work with some real live APIs also. We will work with. Initially, I'm accessing M1, M2, M3, M4. These are all present in my mobiles. Now let's create an interface here. That means how we need to present them. Okay. First, we need a constant. This is mobiles and set mobiles. And we are accessing use state. It is an array of objects. Every object has an img src, which is a string type. That is the type of data we are expecting. And how to access this? So at the time of mounting, that means use effect. At the time of mounting, we will collect the data from the JSON file. How to collect the JSON of axios.get from which one? Mobiles dot what? JSON. And dot then, if it is successful, we will get a response, and this response we will set mobiles. Set mobiles response dot what? Data. That's it. We already learned how to use an AJAX call and how to access the data. Okay, now I am creating an interface here. Let's create a div. In this, we have a nav and we have a main area. Just roughly, I am adding these two. This will have a class, and class is some margin top 4 and a row. Okay. And this will have a class called 2, and this will have a class called 10. The 2 and 10 columns I am giving. And here I need to display all the mobiles small thumbnail preview left side. That means what we need to do. So we need to design that. I will close this. Okay. And what we need here is we need to display left side all the thumbnails. So we will put a binding expression. We have what? Mobiles. Mobiles dot map. You read every mobile. And for every mobile, we will generate a div. In this div, we will put an image. And that image width will be just 100 pixel. And image height also 100 pixel. But image source will be coming from mobile.img src. And every div will have a class margin y some 3. And you can see that all the images are here. These all the images are here. We have a preview. We will keep some small thumbnail, like suppose I given 50 pixel. That means it will be very small thumbnail like images there. We have small thumbnail like images. So it depends how much you want to define, and you configure that. That looks okay. MY4, that means I will add some gap between them. And these can have every image. We need to keep this div is repeating now. Then div should have a key. What is the key? Mobile dot image source, that is the key. Fine. And we will put another class as border, and border is 1. That means it is having a small border for that. And width we will give as another one, W100. That is the width of the div. That is fine. We need to add one style for that image. This div will have a style, and style is width. Width is 70 pixel because already images are that. So that looks okay. Actually, border 2, border 3, that means it will display like this. We are having a border for those images. Border for those images. So width is 75. Something like this we are defining. 75, that is the width little bit adjusted for them. Now what should happen when mouse is over that image? Then right side, I want to display the preview. That means right side, inside this we will have an image. And what is the image? What is the image source? The image source, depending on which image mouse is over. That means here the image width I given as, suppose let's say 50%. That is the image. I just given as a border so that you can understand that there is an image there. And 50%, so 25%. Okay. And it is having height. Height also suppose some 300 pixel. Then it will be like this. 500 pixel. This will be in this way. Just I am keeping the image width and height there. So width is suppose 35%. Just I am adding like this. And what is the concept here is the image source of right side image that completely depends on which image the mouse is over. That means left side, when mouse pointer is over, what we have to do, the SRC of this should be applied here. When mouse is over, collect the SRC of that image and apply to this preview. So what is the preview source? We have to create another constant, that is preview. Set preview. Okay. is equal to use state. It is an object, and actually it is just a string. You can have a path, right? And what is the path? I will give m1.jpg. I will apply that preview as image source. That means this image src will be what? Preview. Preview is nothing but m1. By default, it will get that m1. By default, it is displaying that m1. Now what should happen is when mouse is over, that preview should change. That means we have to write hover for these images. So we will write a function. What is the function handle? Mouse over. On mouse over, how you will get the image related src? We will use an event argument, and here we will write the event. What is it? On mouse over. On mouse over, what to do? On mouse over, handle mouse over. Okay. Now this image source, whatever the src of that particular image, we have to collect and set as preview. That means here we have to use set preview. Set preview is expecting path. And what is the path? E dot target dot what? src. src is because it is an image. Then what will happen? When I move the mouse, that image should come here. That means on mouse over, the image is changing. The image is changing. And I don't want any border for the preview. I will remove this border, because previously, just to show you that image, I kept it. I don't want a border. When mouse is over, it is displaying that and showing. And of course, you can add additional styles and effects. For example, I'm using here, I'm applying another CSS file, event demo dot what? CSS. And here I applied a class as over, or I will simply put highlight. And highlight is nothing but, so what we do, or just I will put as nav tick, or say thumbnail. I will just use reasonable words. Thumbnail. Thumbnail is the image that we have left side. And for that thumbnail, what we are giving? Border as 2 pixel, solid, and some gray. Okay. Now, where to apply this thumbnail? We have to apply the thumbnail. Here we have to import the CSS. So how do we import CSS? Import /event demo dot what? CSS. And here we have to apply the thumbnail. That means for this div, I am using the class instead of using border. This is the image now. Here I am applying the class. What is the class name? Thumbnail. Thumbnail is the class. That means it is going to apply that to gray color. What we will do? One simple option, dot thumbnail hover. Hover indicates mouse is over. Then what we do? Border 2 pixel solid blue color we are using. What is that? Nothing but when mouse is over, it will get the blue color border so that we can know that mouse is over. Right? That means on mouse over, we are changing the highlight. So we will just add some 4 pixel. Then you see the mouse over, then the thumbnail size will be there. 4 pixel is disturbing because earlier we don't have 4, just 2, same. And one more we will give cursor. What is cursor? I will put cursor as grab. Grab is nothing but hand symbol. When mouse is over, hand symbol will come. And mouse is over, it is displaying that hand symbol and showing that. We are changing the highlight with some blue. Right? This is action to perform when mouse is over. That means on mouse over, We are accessing that image source and we are applying to the preview. So we are accessing the image source and displaying. This we done by using the event arguments, default event argument. And what is the default event argument we have? The default event argument is E. E have a what? Target. In that we are using SRC because it is related to image. So what is the logic behind this? Access the source of image and apply that source to the image right side. So mouse over, dynamically that image will be changing. That is a simple implementation of that concept, mouse over, right? This is example of that. So we have a CSS file. What is it? Event demo.css. I will copy that. This is the CSS. And one more, event demo.jsx. In the JSX, we are having this. That is the JSX we are having. So we have these two important examples. One is changing of color, another one changing of images. Here we need a combination of style binding also, right? That is mouse over and mouse out. Mouse down, mouse up means when you hold down the button, that is mouse down. When you release the button, that is mouse up, right? That means until you hold down, you can define some action. Once it is released, then you can stop the functionality. That means, remember, we can apply lot of animations also. We can apply lot of animations. Generally, we can apply keyframes. We can control the animations also. Keyframes, animations, we can control. For example, suppose we have a logo here. Let's say we have a logo. This is logo. This is little large. Actually, this is a React logo we are having. Logo 192.png. That is a logo we are having. What we want to do is we want to control this logo. So that means let's keep this. I will design another one. I'm cleaning this up because I already copied this example for you. Okay. So now what additionally I'm doing here is, we need to put that logo here. So div and class as dflex, justify content center, align items center, and height, I will give style. Height is 100 VH. 100 VH is 100 viewport height. We put a binding, right? Okay. Now here I have an image. What is that image source? Image SRC is logo. What is the number? 192. Yeah. Logo 192.png. I have logo 192.png. That is the logo like this. Right. So I'm having the logo in this way. Actually, this is their logo. So BG dark. That is the logo we are having. Now, when I move the mouse onto it, that logo should rotate. That means when I move the mouse onto it, the logo should rotate. And when I move the mouse outside it, it should stop. Right? Or it should revolve. It should increase the size, decrease the size. Right? Actually, this should keep on rotating one direction, keep on rotating in another direction, right? So generally first, how you add some effects, interactions. For this, you need to be very good in your CSS. That means, of course, you people might have learned CSS keyframes, right? You need to learn the keyframes and handle the keyframes. For example, let's see how to make it rotate first. What I will do is I will use @keyframes. Keyframes is a CSS keyframe. So I will keep as rotate. Rotate is the keyframe name. You can give any name. That is our own name, keyframe name. And from, I am giving from transform. Transform rotate, rotate 0 degree to transform, transform rotate 360 degree. 0 degree to 360 degree we are rotating. That is the keyframe. And we will apply this keyframe for logo. Right? We have a logo class. This logo class is nothing but it is referring to this image. This image is using a class. What is the class? Logo. It is using a class called logo. Now what we want is, so we want to apply this rotate to that particular logo. That means we have to give animation name. Animation name. What is animation name? Rotate. Animation duration. Duration infinite. So animation duration I will give as 500 milliseconds duration, or how many seconds the duration should be. I will give as, suppose, animation duration as 5 seconds. Not 5 seconds is very slow, little fast. 500 milliseconds I will give animation duration. Animation count. Animation count is the iteration count is infinite. Iteration count infinite. Then what will happen is it will rotate like this. I want rotation little small, slow. Then I will give 2 seconds. 2 seconds is okay. That means it will rotate slow like this. And I want a linear rotate. Linear rotate means then we can use animation timing function. Timing function is what? Linear. Then it will rotate linearly like this. That is the linear rotate. That means we are making the image rotate. We are just using some keyframe here. Suppose 5 seconds, then it will be slow. Depending on the speed. Now what should happen when mouse is over? It should rotate opposite direction. Right? On mouse is over, it should rotate opposite direction. So on mouse is out, it should rotate in another direction. Usually these kind of effects we can directly put through CSS. We can directly put through CSS. Through CSS, we can control them. But generally, sometimes what they do, they ask requirements like they will say that I will put a drop down or I will put radius. And in the radius, I will select rotate clockwise. Then it should rotate clockwise. I will select rotate counterclockwise. It should rotate up. I select zoom, then it should start zooming. I say zoom out, then it should go down. That means we need to control many animations. We have to control many animations. That means we can define these animation names also dynamically. Animation names also we can create dynamically and define dynamically. Actually, what is the animation name it is using? Animation name is rotate. And it is applying that animation duration, animation timing function, and all these options it is using. Usually what happens is when mouse is over, how do you pause it? Or mouse is over, how do you make it rotate in another way? Actually, in CSS, how do we do? We just put a logo and we put a hover. You know, hover is equal to mouse over. On mouse over, what we will do? animation name is same. What is the animation name? Rotate is the animation name. Animation duration, I will set it to 2 seconds. That means now when mouse is over, it will start rotating fast. Suppose on 1 second, it will rotate more fast. And others also same, animation, iteration, count and all. This is on hover I am giving. That means what is happening when mouse is over, it starts rotating fast. And when mouse is out, it will be slow. That means on mouse over, it is rotating fast. And on mouse out, it is slow. That means we are controlling by using CSS. That's enough actually. Through CSS, we can control because CSS also have hover. But we want to control this through React. Through React, we need to control. That means we need to set the timings or we need to control these all through React. Then how do you write? Or we want to change the animations. When mouse over, one animation, mouse out, another animation, we want to upload different. Then how you can change the animations and define them? That means let's see. The logo is the class and logo class is having, I will remove all these effects. Actually, these are related to styling. Let me give you this example as it is so that you can try some example on that. What is that? Event demo dot.css. Let me copy this. Okay. And we have event demo dot what? JSX. In JSX, I am adding this simple design we are adding. Now, what is our point is we want to apply a keyframe. I want to apply a keyframe to this. I will remove this logo, mouse over and all these options. I will remove them. Means I am removing only one keyframe is there. What is the keyframe name? Rotate. So obviously it is not having any effect as of now. On mouse over, through React, we want to apply some effect. Then how do we do that? That means now we will go here and we will write some styling. So we will write some style for this image. That means what are the styles we need to put? Constant. And I will keep a style object. Okay. Style obj and set style obj. Okay. Now use state. What are the effects? Object. In the object, what is the first one? I want to set animation name. So I am using animation name. I'm using animation name. And what is the animation name you want? Animation name is what? Rotate. Rotate is the animation name. Okay, what is next? Animation what? Duration. Duration is how many seconds? So some 5 seconds. Animation duration 5 seconds. What is the next one? So we have animation what? Iteration count. Animation iteration count. How much? Infinite. So I'm giving animation iteration count infinite, right? So animation name is rotate, animation duration is 5 seconds, animation iteration count infinite. But here, very big problem will come. Are these animations understandable to Virtual DOM directly? That is another key point. How to apply this style object now? We need to apply style object to this one. That means what we will do? We will directly apply that style object here. What we have to do? Style. What is it? Style object. Style object is applying to that. It will start working for this. This time we are applying through React. And how to give another one? Virtual DOM, remember, it cannot understand the CSS style. you have to use like this. Capitalization very much matters, understood? That means camel case, capitalization very much matters. And what is another effect we need to give? Animation timing function, linear. I am giving animation timing function, then it will have a linear like this. Now, if you can apply dynamically like this, you know how to control this. You know how to control. You can change animation name. You can change animation duration. So what we need to do on mouse over, I want to make it fast this time. Then how do you do that? How do you do that? That means what we have to do, we have to use what? On mouse over. On mouse over. What is it? Handle mouse over. We don't have a function by name, and we will write a function handle mouse over. Not E required. Directly we will just get mouse over. What to do on mouse over? Set style object. Set style object. And what should be the style object? Style object requires lot of values. In that I am giving only one value. What is that value I am giving? Animation timing function. I am using animation timing, not timing function. What is it? Animation duration. Duration I will give as 1 second. It is having how many seconds? It is previously having how many seconds? 5 seconds. We are changing it to 1 second on hover. That means when mouse is over, then you see it is not having that effect. It is rotating. When mouse is over, it is stopped. Why? Because generally you applied only this value. Then do you know what will happen? All the other values it will delete and it will apply only this value. That means object dynamically changed. Dynamically changed, and it is having only one option. What is that option? Animation duration. But it is not just only animation duration. It should have all these options as it is. That means we need to apply all these options. Let me copy them and I will put all those options. In those options, only animation duration you need to change. It changed to how many? 1 second. That means now it is refresh, right? And when mouse is over, it will start. And can you change the animation name, animation duration, animation count on hover? That means on hover we are doing. On out again, we have to set the same option. That means we haven't written the logic for that. Then what we have to do? Another one. What is it? Function handle mouse out. Handle mouse out. On mouse out, set the style object same. We have to set the style object same. And what we have to do? Again, set it to how many seconds? 5 seconds. And we need to write that here. What is that? We have to define on mouse over, out, on mouse out, handle mouse out. Now it looks fine. That means it is going to work in this way. Refresh. That is how it is moving. On mouse over, it is fast, and on mouse out again, it will be slow. That means we can control the animations for any element. And this is adding lot of effects. These all generally required with the CSS knowledge. If you have good CSS knowledge, we can create all these. And that is very common actually. If you learn React, the first day that you create React project, in that first screen, in the React screen, you will see this one. You will see a React logo rotating. That means that's a very basic thing in React. And now you are controlling on mouse over and mouse out. We will do one thing. When I click mouse down, hold down, it should start zooming. And when I release, it should start zoom out. That means when I hold down the button, it should start zooming slowly, and release and it should go back. That means we need to control that. We need to control on mouse down and mouse up. Mouse down, mouse up. how do you zoom the image? That means we need to control the zooming and implement the zooming. Actually, how you can do the zooming concept, we'll do one more option here. We will write another keyframe. What is it? At the net keyframes. So keyframes and keyframe name. Keyframe name I will give as what? Zoom. Actually, directly we can keep some effects. Suppose instead of keyframe, directly if you want to apply, you can implement the style binding. So I will use constant. So zoom, and we say set zoom. Okay, then how do we apply the zoom? We need to apply the zoom. That means you have to use an use state. Here we create an object. We can, zoom means we will put width, height, and we will increase that. You can try like this, or you can create another keyframe. How do you write the keyframe? At the net what? Keyframes. Keyframe name is what? Zoom. And from, what should happen is transform. Transform is a scale. Scale 1 and 2, we will give transform. Transform is what? Scale is suppose 3. 3 means little large zoom. 3 times it will zoom. Okay. This zoom effect we need to apply when mouse is down. That means we have a function handle mouse down. We have handle mouse down. Handle mouse down. Okay. On mouse down, what should happen? Mouse down, that means until he's hold down the button. Then what should happen? Set style object. We will set animation name. Animation name should be what? Zoom. So animation duration. Duration is some 5 seconds. So animation timing function. Timing function is linear. And animation, that is enough. I'm just giving another one is what? Animation iteration count is infinite. I'm using like this. Actually, infinite is not required. That it should happen when mouse is down. That means we have to write another event. What is it? On mouse down. On mouse down. Handle mouse down. Handle mouse down is the event. That means it is initially revolving like this. Mouse over, it will be fast. When I hold down the button, it should start zooming. And I release the button, it should be not. That means when I hold down the button, it is infinite. We should not use infinite. Animation iteration count. Iteration count I am not writing. Animation iteration count I am not writing, and I click, it will come like this. The zoom is not happening. That is only once, because only once I given that. That means animation iteration count we can put infinite, 2 times, 3 times, any number of times we can give. Mouse, and remember why both effects are not working. That means rotate also not working, because generally we return only one effect. I hope you already learned in CSS, and you know that to apply multiple effects, we have to write like this. That means we have to add more than one effect like this. Rotate how many degrees? 0 degrees. And this also rotate. Rotate how many degrees? 360 degree. Like this we are giving. That means usually it is rotating, and mouse over, it will be like this. It will be zooming and displaying that. It will be zooming and displaying. That means when mouse is out, it is normal. When mouse is over, it is fast. And mouse is down, when I hold down, then it starts zooming and rotating like this. These are all CSS related animations effects we directly apply to our HTML element, JSX elements through style binding techniques, right? This is another example. This is another example. I will give here. What is it? Event demo.css and event demo.js. JSX. JSX. This is the mouse over, mouse out. Remember, this completely depends on how you know your CSS. You know, people, I showed you this, people design spinners, loading status, everything is created by using such. Later, when you design any data interactions and all, you will make an AJAX call. It will take some time to load. Then during the time, what we can do, we can put a spinner. The spinner will spin and it will show that loading, please wait. And if you see loading like status are displayed with different animations, you will see loading word is blinking, right? The loading word is zooming in, zooming out. So all such we can control by using this. So that requires your good knowledge of keyframes and all you can design. Next, one more is there, mouse move. Means while moving the mouse, you can define some action. For example, let's clean this up. And what is mouse move here? So right, what is the mouse move option is? I will copy some images here. Okay, I have some image. It is a GIF file. Let me copy this. And our project is in E drive, F drive. Right, so it is in public. Yeah, in public, I will copy flag. There is a flag GIF file is there. What I am doing here, I am adding a div and it have a style and style height I will give as 1000 pixel. Below that we have an image. Image source is flag.gif. Width is 50. Height also 50. Width and height 50 for this image. And actually what is the point here? You can see this is the screen. And on this screen, there is a div whose height is very lengthy. That means when I scroll down at the bottom, there is a small flag. At the bottom, there is small flag. What I will do now here, so that means we can't see that until you scroll down. That means I will give a message, move your mouse pointer to test. Okay. Now what we are doing, we are creating a constant style object. Style object and set style object is equal to use state. This style object will have some position. Position I am giving empty. And I am giving left. Left is also empty. Top is also empty. You know CSS positions are there. CSS position, CSS left and CSS top. Now what we will do, we will apply that style object here. Style is equal to, it will get from where? Style object. And anywhere when I am moving mouse on the main div, right? That means here I will use on mouse move. Move means continuously moving. Then we will write handle mouse move. Okay. So what is the function? Function handle mouse move event argument. I will put set style object and here we are adding position. Position is fixed. What is the position fixed means? Position fixed means it will remove element from its place. Position, how many positions are there in CSS? 5. Static position, relative position, absolute position, fixed position, sticky position. Fixed and absolute, these are the positions which will remove element from the place. To remove element from its place, position fixed. After that, we will put left. Left should be the x-axis position of mouse. Mouse x-axis position we will get and we will put as left. How to get mouse x-axis position? E dot, not target. E dot directly what? Client X. Client X will get the x-axis position plus px because that will get only number 200, 300. But in CSS, you need 200 px pixel. Okay. What about top? Top should be y-axis position. How to get y-axis position? E dot client y. Client y dot px. Okay. That means now see what will happen. When mouse is moving, we are getting the mouse position and applying that position to the image. That means now what happens when I move the mouse, the image is moving along with the mouse. That means actually image is somewhere bottom. Image is somewhere bottom. And now what is happening when you are moving the mouse, the image is moving along with the mouse. How you can do that? Just pick up the mouse position, put it to image. And that event is mouse move. Mouse move means continuously while mouse is moving, the position is being updated. The new position of mouse will apply to the image. I applied for image. You can put a text, div, span, anything it can be there. It is not just a image, right? That means it can have anything here. It can have anything here. I am just applying for image. I can apply for text. That means suppose there is a div here, right? A div here, and div is having like suppose welcome, something like this. And we will apply a style object. What is the style object? Style is coming from style object. That means that welcome word has to move along with it. That means whatever you want, you can keep there. It's not like just only image, right? We can keep anything there. I'm just adding a div there, right? Instead of the div, previously we were having what? An image. We can put an image. That means it will update along while you move, right? So these are mouse related interactions. How do we design, right? So this is another example. This is related to mouse what? Move. This is related to mouse move. This is one example. Event demo dot what? JSX. These are all mouse related concepts. Later you will see so many other interactions also, but just basically you should know this: mouse over, mouse out, mouse down, mouse up, and mouse move. Now similarly we have now keyboard events. Key up, key down, key press, while typing, verifying password, while typing, verifying password strength. Is it strong? Is it weak? Is it poor password, right? Verifying whether you entered a capital letter or not. All such things while working with forms and validations. A lot of interactions are done by using keyboard. Now how keyboard events will work, where we use them in different situations, that we'll see tomorrow, right? So these you need to practice. Then tomorrow we will discuss about keyboard. We have keyboard events, we have button events, we have clipboard events, we have form events, different, even touch events. Touch events are related to touch devices, right? How to use all these different types of events with examples we will see. Tomorrow we'll continue. Okay, right.